with Spidey now, with Ock. And I know there's gonna where Luke is gonna beat his ass. Is gonna knock his head off. There's a issue coming up in Mighty Avengers where we see Luke's fist connecting with Ock's face, and because he knows that he knows that this is not Spider-Man. It's getting really ridiculous. It makes a lot of the Marvel heroes look like fools. Okay, so but thanks for the questions. I'll move on to the next on my personal message box. All right, let's see. We have the Spawn 117, and here's because I got some questions for you. First question is, what's your favorite Spider-Man costume? Favorite Spider-Man costume? Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting. What is my favorite Spider-Man costume? Since they all get destroyed or something like that, my favorite Spider-Man costume has got to be, there's a couple actually. It's not I don't really have a number one favorite. I will always love the black costume, the symbiote. I think Spidey looks so cool in black. But yes, it does make him look like a villain, which he's said. Okay. But I've always loved the symbiote Spider black costume. Even when he lost his symbiote, he was still rocking the black costume for a while. So that was cool. I also like the Ben Reilly Spider-Man costume. I always thought that was a really cool costume, which was cool. The Spider Armor costume was good. The black and silver costume that he had, which debuted in Web of Spider-Man number 50. That was cool. I enjoyed that, but that got destroyed. It was just like a one-time deal. But that's a couple of them. I mean, I didn't mind the Spider Armor that Tony Stark made for him, but I just felt like you're looking too much like Tony Iron Man's sidekick. I don't like that. You know, I didn't like that. But I was glad to see that it was still being used by a couple of clones that became the Scarlet Spiders and thing like that. They were still using the Spider Armor, which was cool. I was okay with that. But there's a lot of Spidey costumes that I liked, but I always don't get attached. Now I don't get attached to new Spider-Man costumes because I'm like, it's gonna get destroyed, or it's gonna get destroyed. It's gonna get destroyed, or it's gonna get pretty much not used anymore. Something, you know, the basic stuff like that. So it's really funny, indeed. That's just how I feel about it. Yeah, so I don't get attached to his costumes as much like I used to. Let me see. What do you think of a Spider-Man Naruto crossover? A Spider-Man Predator crossover and a Spider-Man Spawn crossover, Spider-Man Green Lantern crossover, and a Spider-Man Noir Legends of Korra crossover. Spider-Man Green Lantern, I would take it as just how would you do that? Like, what would bring Green Lantern and Spider-Man together? That's the real question. Spider-Man and Naruto, I can't really see that one really happening. And Spider-Man Predator, that would be interesting. Like, I could see the Predator going after Spider-Man. Like, yeah, okay, that's gonna test Peter. That's gonna push his spider sense, all his skills to the limit when he's facing the Predator. I would love to see that. Spider-Man and Spawn, that'd be kind of cool too, because I've always seen pictures of them together. So I would want to see how that would work. And a Spider-Man Noir and Legend of Korra would be interesting too. But that's just me. I'm just saying. Okay. Um. Your third question. Do you think? Do you like to see? Would you like to see a Spider-Man Web of Shadows TV series? Uh, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I don't. God, I'm not sure. I don't know. That'd be interesting, but just a better Spider-Man cartoon than what's going on now. I'll be fine with. Uh, what did you think of Spider-Man Unlimited? Spider-Man Unlimited is basically what I've always said. This is what happens when you let Arad Avery basically control the whole thing. You get that. I remember when that show was first coming out. I remember when I started hearing about this show that it was supposed to be a sequel to the '90s Spider-Man, and Spider-Man and Spider-Man was going off world to counter Earth to this counter Earth to save John Jameson and things like that. And I watched it, and I'm just like, okay, the actor who's playing Spider-Man, I thought Christopher Daniel Barnes was going to come back to voice the character, but he didn't. It was Reno Romano came back, the only guy who can say he's voiced Spider-Man and Batman, come back, and he's voicing character, and I'm like, okay, I got nothing against that. Um, and I'm just like, okay. Then they show Venom and Carnage. I'm like, they look way different. What the hell happened to them? And when he got to Counter Earth, I'm like, okay, what all these animal people and everything like that. And I love the line where he said, I'm on the planet of the island of Dr. Monroe." And I'm like, yeah, and it just was weird. I mean, all his villains, were his rogues gallery were different. Electro was like this lizard, and the Goblin was good, and things like that. I'm just like, a lot of the stuff that they claimed that was going to be in there. We're going to see a lot of Marvel heroes, and we only saw Nick Fury at the beginning. And it was just weird. It just the one thing I will say that I will give it credit for. I will give Spider-Man credit for. Okay, is that Spidey fought. He actually fought back. I mean, he was throwing punches. He was throwing kicks. It wasn't held back on those restrictions that the '94 series had. So I will give him credit for that. But I thought the Spider-Man suit was cool. I thought the suit was cool. Just that web cape. Spidey don't need no cape, and I thought that was bad. But I did like the outfit. It was made by Reed Richards, actually. It was nanotechnology, so I liked it. Actually came on him. He had a lot of different tools and things like that. Like he had like Sonics that could when he was fighting Venom and Carnage and things like that. But later on, they kind of adapted to his Sonic, and I'm like, wait a minute, that ain't how they shouldn't be able to adapt to that. So what is the 1-2 weaknesses of the symbiotes? Sonics and fire. And but I was like this on it. There maybe is one episode that I love out of all of it, and that's the episode with that Craven wannabe. That was the only one I actually liked the most. But other than that, it's just a show that you can pass over, in my opinion. If that's just my opinion. If you like it, you like it. I mean, it's on Netflix. You can watch it on Netflix. It's I don't understand why they took off the '90s show off of Netflix. The same thing I don't understand why they took off the '90s X-Men cartoon off of Netflix. The only cartoon of Spider-Man that's on Netflix is Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the MTV Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Unlimited. But thanks, Spawn, for the questions. We move on to the next. Uh, Mr. Emerald asks favorite Spider-Man moments. Favorite Spider-Man moments. That's a tough one, but I can give you one. Definitely. and he got married. And he married Mary Jane. Great moment there. But then again, once again, it's a great moment. But then it's like, fuck you to all those people that thought, oh, he shouldn't be married. It doesn't look well for him. He should be the ultimate bachelor. Superheroes shouldn't be married or in relationships. Like, in my mind, that still happened. It's canon. It happened. It's canon. It happened. You know. Favorite Spider-Man fight? I kinda answered that already. Talked about that already. Favorite Spider-Man team up? There's too many to describe. Too many. Him and Wolverine team up. It's fun. Him and Daredevil team up. Him and Johnny Storm. Him and the Fantastic Four. Him and a lot of, just a lot of team ups he had outside of the Marvel Universe. Him and Batman. Great stuff. Always recommend those two comics. Him and Gen 13 is good stuff. Him and let me see. Him and I'm trying to remember another team up he had. Peter Parker. I'm trying to remember. When he met Wonder Woman one time, it was really cool. But it was fun. It's stuff like that. Yeah. Let's see. What would happen if Spider-Man was injected with the super soldier serum? Oh my God. Oh man. You already got him with his spider-like powers. Now having him with the super soldier serum, which Captain America got him. You talking about in a sense, he kind of already has that, because Spidey don't really get too tired that as quickly as somebody. But if he had that, Spidey would never get tired. He would never have to, in a sense, I would say, never, ever have to. His endurance level would be off the chain. Like, his endurance is already superhuman as it is, but you add in now the super soldier serum into him, it's like, Jesus Christ, that'd be crazy. I'm not even going to deny that. Yeah, triathlete times 10. His super strength would probably be upped even more than it already is, because his maximum lifting capacity is about 10 tons. That's pretty enough right there. But adding the super soldier serum would push it up even more. So his body would be in perfectly perfect. I'm just saying like that. Yeah, that'd be crazy. And if you and Spider-Man would hang out for one day, what would you guys do? Me and Spidey hang out for one day. Let's see. I would say catch a baseball game, but the thing is, he's a Mets fan. I'm a Yankee fan, so we'd probably be kind of be like, okay, we can't do this. But I think the thing I would do is simply just me and him go up somewhere high and just talk. Just me and him have a talk. Just talk. Maybe take to the Statue of Liberty. We'd be up on Lady Liberty's head, even though that's him and Johnny's place of meeting. But yeah, they just go there and just talk. I just talk to him and just tell him that, like, I know a lot about you and everything like that. Just talk to him. Just